welcome to another edition of Chop Creeds. I am your tired host. Like I'm here, there, and everywhere. I'm like a little
Dr. Seuss book. You're here, you're there, everywhere.
I'm in Nicaragua. Over here, I'm in Bolivia.
You sell drugs in a house. You sell drugs to a mouse.
If you give a mouse some cocaine, what does it do? I know this podcast almost didn't happen, by the way. Almost saw American Assassin. But
I think we upgraded to a much higher quality of movie when we picked American Made.
Yes, American Made. Almost did not happen, but good choice in picking American Made over American Assassin. As much as I love Taylor Kitsch and Channing Tatum, or not Channing Tatum.
There you go. That's Dylan O'Brien?
No, well, yeah, but no.
Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton.
How do you get Channing Tatum and Michael Keaton confused in the same sentence?
I don't know.
I just want to know how that happened in your mind.
It was the Chaka.
They're both white? I can't really think of anything else that ties them together.
They both probably have a degree of separation from Kevin Bacon.
You know, that is a solid point, and I concede to you, sir.
Speaking of solid, how was your poop before the podcast?
You know, I feel like I could run a marathon. I feel like my
poopical difficulties.
I want to play basketball because my vertical leap has gone up 10 inches since I lost that weight from that turd.
This is totally inappropriate to talk about while we're on the podcast. But have you ever seen South Park?
I am aware of South Park. I've seen some South Park.
They have a poop episode of South Park that is just
You know what else
glorious.
is full of poop? The Emoji Movie. We got to do that one.
Well, that's going to be when it's midsummer and there's nothing. And we're going... Again, we're forcing ourselves
I'd rather go back and watch The Sea of Trees.
No.
Than watch the Emoji Movie. Well, I don't want to watch the Emoji Movie. I would rather see Matthew McConaughey scream in the woods.
I'd probably rather go see that than the Emoji Movie. Maybe that'll be a punishment one week. We'll have separate reviews.
Oh, God.
And one of us has
punishment reviews?
Yeah, punishment reviews. Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious. Anyways, American Made.
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing about this particular movie is that it's a quote-unquote biopic.
Based on a true story.
Loosely
based.
And that's the bread and jelly of it all, is that it's loosely based. It's tethered together with about 10% facts, but the story that it does create is a interesting one at least.
Yeah, if you go and you look at Barry Seal's story, they're pretty different, but it's generally the same idea. A guy who was a pilot who got into drug trafficking and smuggling and then was contacted by the CIA to start doing reconnaissance work for them. And then the whole thing blew up and he started doing more and more and more crazy work for both sides, both the drug cartels and the government. And it's really interesting, actually.
Now, we've got in the lead role as Barry Seal, Tom Cruise.
Good old Tom Cruise.
Doesn't
look like his age of day.
No, it does not.
And Donald
Gleason is Monty Schaefer. Sarah Wright is Lucy Seal. Sarah Wright with a sneaky good performance in this one.
We'll have to disagree on that.
Okay, Jesse Plemons as Sheriff Downing. I'm trying to see if there's anybody... Oh, Caleb Landry Jones as JB.
We've got, I don't know who played like Pablo Escobar and all them. Really, the biggest...
Maurice Mejia.
Oh.
Is Pablo Escobar. And let's tackle Jorge Ochoa is Alejandro Eda.
Good effort there, man.
Trying my best.
And honestly, the biggest name actors in this are Tom Cruise and Domhnall Gleeson, but the whole movie is Tom Cruise's little playground. He's pretty much in every scene in the movie.
Yeah, honestly, it's hard to even think, there's some CIA scenes without him.
Yeah, just like tiny little cut scenes, but generally he drives the entire movie, his character. Because, it's about Barry.
It is all about Barry.
Oh, fun fact, directed by the same guy who directed Edge of Tomorrow.
No.
Yeah, a totally different style, but same director. I think his name is David Lipton or something like that.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Doug Liman.
David Lipton. DL. Same thing.
I liked the choice of the camera work in this film.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of The Big Short. It's like almost like documentary style, like a lot of zooms, quick cuts, a lot of like the facial turns to the camera for like all the reaction shots. It's not cinematic in that sense. It's very... up close and personal, which is cool. It makes you feel like you're in it,
And that's really something that is to be appreciated, is that the way that they chose to shoot it is not necessarily the most awe-inspiring shot, or it's not something that's portrayically appealing to the eye. What it is, though, is it's telling you what is important in the story by getting you up front and close and personal, and immersing you as the audience member into the story.
Yeah,
it's very close, and if not, is guerrilla camera work.
I think also it's supposed to almost, like I said, feel like a documentary because of the fact that it's based on a true story. So you get that handheld, quick zoom, kind of shaky camera work throughout the whole thing, which I really, really, really love that choice. I think that was one of the defining characteristics that made me like this movie, was how it was edited and shot. And, on top of that, they put in a lot of historical footage, like old cartoons, black and white photos, which is really cool. It makes you feel like, you're watching a true story.
Yeah, they do a genuinely good job of getting that nostalgia, that feel of a documentary without ever really dipping into a true documentary feel. It felt like a genuine, you're in there as it's happening. Yeah. Rather than in the 1980s. Yes. Look back on it, and with the commentary. While there are some, and there's off the top of my head, there's one commentary political cartoon where Tom Cruise just has to explain things.
Yeah, it's not some narrator. It's Tom Cruise. It's Tom Cruise in character explaining what the situation was in the 1980s. And I actually didn't know about any of this, that all the stuff that our government sponsored back in the day. And I thought that was really interesting to find out. Immediately once the credits rolled, I went and I looked up the whole thing, because I was like, this is crazy that we allowed this to happen, and we inadvertently created a drug cartel that's pretty much still operating.
Yeah, it's watching Narcos, where shout back to Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle, where tequila, or was it whiskey? I think it was whiskey.
Which one? Who are you talking about?
The one with the
mustache and the whip? Yeah, that was tequila.
That was tequila.
Yep.
That's where he's from, Narcos, or at least from his American
And Game of Thrones.
And Game of Thrones, right? Yeah. So just to shout back to that, Narcos, you get a lot of that back history too. So it was nice from my perspective, with a little hindsight of knowing where that history is and not living through it, obviously. Yeah. Getting a little backstory and knowledge already. It was very, very 80s central thropic, and I liked that. And there was even an added touch where they didn't necessarily say where they were, but you didn't need to, and I'm glad that they didn't just plaster
it. What are you talking about?
A lot of the times, instead of saying Rio, Brazil, what they did was TWA, New York. Yeah. And then what that essentially was doing was just giving you some sort of timestamp to what era of Barry's life you're entering, and to whom he's associated with. Yeah. And it was beautiful. It very distinctly helped you identify, okay, I know where the character is going, and I can feel comfortable knowing that moving forward. At first it didn't make sense, because you're seeing TWA,
but then it's
Kentucky or whatever.
It's an airline, yeah.
Then you realize,
and then it changes to CIA 1982, and the whole thing is split up because Barry recorded tapes of himself talking about his last few years and all the crazy stuff that happened. Then he labeled each tape, by a year and who he was working for. So that's kind of how they establish it, going through the narrative.
And that's an interesting way to do it too, is to where you feel as if you're the person going back through these videotapes, which they made it abundantly clear that that's essentially what the whole story was. It was splashes of moments where he's changing the tape, where just a little bit of narrative / dialogue bleeds through, and then you're realizing, okay, so I'm still, from an outside perspective, this isn't what's happening now. And eventually it's going to get married to the point where the two fuses come together to where there will be a story that Barry is no longer overlording what happened. It's what's going to happen. I do want to touch on the nostalgia really fast. I even loved how they it was almost like a morphine shot of how they just let you just slowly dial into the film, just slowly let you transition into the film, even from the opening credits.
I think the soundtrack freaking helped a lot with that. Killer soundtrack. They used all songs from like each year for the time, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. And even the opening credits really just, they were timestamped to what they were in that time.
Yep.
So that helped, and it even gave you one of those impromptu, like what's quid pro quo of what's become necessary of
good word choice.
I know there we go. But of like the president speaking and what just current events, so that way again you get thrown into
you're in the world of the ages all the time. They do a really good job creating that atmosphere for sure.
And it's really actually costumed well. I mean, in certain aspects, sometimes you forget, but
from hair to the production design, the wardrobe, they do. A really good
they
job
do a glorious job of creating that, because with them living in going from poverty to luxury, there actually is a wide difference in wardrobe, and you see that transition mid-film, where it's almost within one scene where they go from. Not destitute, but
they're just desperate. Like average.
Yeah,
like
just average,
class.
and then they move up in class.
Yep.
To where they're having to hide money and everything. So, talking about the actual film itself, I guess let's just go on with the movie as it is, face value, because it's not up to us. The film's already been made, and it's not up to us to judge it how true it is. It's just really just take it on its own.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you found most interesting about the film, and pinpoint for me what exactly you liked?
Well, okay, the first thing that comes to mind is obviously Tom Cruise. His performance anchors the whole thing. It's not like an Oscar-winning performance, but he is just so fun to watch, and he's totally in it the whole time. He drives every single scene. He's got like so much energy and charisma, and his performance and the script basically make the film, it's pretty much a comedy almost. Like it's really funny.
You know, this is an interesting point of every once in a while I'm reminded of a list of actors who you ask yourself, where do they rank on the list of actors who can mail in a performance and still be great? Samuel L. Jackson, anytime he mails in a performance, it's still fantastic. Kong Island, he's the best thing about it. One of the best things about it. And I forget that Tom Cruise I don't know to how much he was trying. What his degree of effort was.
The whole thing, it's really like Tom Cruise it's not it's not very character driven.
No.
But he was probably the best person I could think of for the role, because he plays it beautifully.
And this whole film, not only is there a nary a scene, without him, but it really is. If Barry was somebody else of a lesser degree or less likability or what have you, it would not have been as good a movie as it was.
No, for sure.
Whoever was Barry Seal would have made or broke this film.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Tom Cruise made it as far as made it completely memorable, but he certainly did not break it, and he just did a justifiable job for me.
Oh, yeah.
And anything else as far as, did you appreciate any of the tension buildings? That's something that I loved.
Yeah, that's what was crazy, was like the whole movie was so kind of like off the walls, and what was going on, and they were just getting flooded with money and drugs and guns, and more is happening. But then there's so much tension with law enforcement or with the drug cartels, and in a few scenes you're really holding your breath, and the style really helps with that too, like that frenetic cutting, and then the zooms on the faces, and you see dudes rushing out, and there's the shaky camera. I think that did a really good job in building all the tension in those scenes.
You know what I think really epitomizes this entire film? If I had to take one scene that just really sums it all up, it's that scene where they're trying to get. It's where they introduce Barry to Pablo Escobar and everybody in the Ochoas.
Yeah.
And they're having a discussion of, can they get this plane off the ground? First off, it's let's do the deal. They do the deal. Once they do that, then can he get the plane off the ground?
It's already a funny scene because you have this cultural divide with this, white middle class pilot from Baton Rouge, like talking to drug lords for the first time, and they're paying him to move cocaine, and he's just like, yeah, I mean, I'll do it. I like money. And then they're taking bets on him, but then the whole entire time you think he's going to crash the plane, and there's dudes with like guns pointed at him the whole time, and so it's really tense, and it's this like kind of nervous excitement that kind of permeates the whole film.
And it's that natural tension that really helps it. It's the reason why I even take this and clip it out and to showcase it as what this whole film is that really there's no tension. Like there's not like, gunfight happening back and forth.
Yeah.
There's not somebody's being held for ransom. It's not something that's incredibly action driven, but it's that there's this underlying pressure of will he crash the plane or not.
Yeah.
There's this natural interest to see whether or not he can actually drive the plane up, see where the story is going from there. And 3, it's that resourcefulness. We're seeing that resourcefulness that the character is really known for, and why he's so good at what he does. That all 3 of those are encapsulated within this one scene where he's determining the weight, he's negotiating, and he's trying to get more runway, and he says that the runway's not going to get any longer.
Then he's got an incredibly fat dude on the plane. He's got to get him off because he weighs too much. That was great.
That was great. That's what I really to me, epitomizes the entire thing, where there's nothing that really even stands out beyond that to me. Like, it's good. It was all good. It was just, to me, nothing incredibly memorable. No iconic moment for it. No firework. It's just, it was all intriguing. And
it was all fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And funny. But then there's also that natural organic tension of a storyline tension.
Do you know what I think could have made it better, though? This is kind of like my biggest problem with it is kind of like you said, it's not that memorable. I think it could have taken hints from a few other movies and been a bit more dramatic. It reminds me of 2 movies, The Big Short and The Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street for obvious reasons, and The Big Short because of its style. And they all 3 movies.
Wolf of Wall Street for obvious reasons. What are those obvious reasons?
Well, because of the rags to riches story of a guy that kind of gets too in over his head with like an illegal scheme.
Okay.
But The Big Short and The Wolf of Wall Street both have obvious dramatic moments that really make the story hit home at the end. This one's kind of missing that. I think that the supporting characters are written kind of weak. The villains are just like, Hollywood drug lords, and his wife, she's put in there to basically be a pretty face and nag at him every time the plot needs it to happen. She doesn't do much more than that. She played the role fine, but the characters weren't that, and even the main character, it's more, all these crazy things happening to him, and there's not really a lot of his personal development. And I think if it would have concentrated on more of those dramatic elements, it would have been a memorable film, and you would have walked out there going, wow, like this was a roller coaster. But you were just kind of like, that was cool, Yeah,
this entire film is really story-driven rather than character-driven.
Yeah.
And had it taken that sharp turn to really develop something. Because even when, in the end, when he died, I was saddened, but I wasn't devastated. I didn't feel invested entirely. I was just
that's
more
the thing. It kind of misses the mark at the end. You're like, oh, this. If they would have spent a longer time developing this character, that would have like shredded me apart. But it was just kind of like, the drug lords got him. It didn't really do anything else.
So all in all, where does this rank for you in our summer film? Now, I guess we're no longer in summer, huh?
Yeah, this is like a fall movie, and I think it's the first fall release that we've seen, right? What was last time?
It, and then
I think
Kingsman.
Yeah, I liked it. Did I like it better than Kingsman? I don't know.
Yes, I liked it.
You like it better than Kingsman?
How dare you, sir? Yes.
It's a better movie than Kingsman. I had fun watching both. It's more airtight than Kingsman for sure. I think that, after obviously we see a few more fall movies, it'll be like middle of the pack. But I'm glad that we saw it. I am. I think it is better. But we got Blade Runner next week, and I'm hoping that that's going to climb up the list.
Yes, I'm sure it will.
But I just, like I said, the whole time I was like I enjoyed it so much that I wish it had more. Like I cared about it, and I was like, man, this could have been like a great movie, not just a good movie. It could have been really, really, really good. But it was just a good time.
Yeah. All right, Boucher Bars. How many do you want to give it?
79.
I was thinking 75 myself.
75. Yeah, I got 79. I think it's good. It's fun. It's not great, and it's right on the cusp of that 80 and above, but not quite there for me.
Yeah, it's a passable movie, good movie.
Yeah.
I don't have any major complaints, but I don't have any major kudos.
Yeah.
Other than costumes, but...
And, like, Tom Cruise is, like, weirdly good-looking and young because he has those Scientology powers.
Scientology.
And we'll do it for you. You know what? Next podcast, Phil and I become Scientologists.
Yeah, I'll stay tuned for that one, too. Oh, right after this, give me 5 break. Red Ribbon Realty Group at HomeSmart is a full-service real estate team of Phoenix natives with over 15 years of experience in the industry. When you work with them, you have 2 full-time realtors representing your best interests throughout your entire transaction, whether you are selling, buying, or renting. They also believe in supporting their community. Use code word chopped greens and Red Ribbon Realty Group will donate 15% of their net commission from your transaction to the nonprofit charity of your choice. Visit their website at www.redribbongroup.com and find them on Facebook. You can also email them at info@redribbongroup.com or call them at 602-888-6638. Red Ribbon Realty Group. Trust. Commitment. Home. If I was in this film, if I was like a person in this film, I would have been the pilot who fell asleep.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, dude, I could never stay awake and fly a plane for like 24 hours straight. That's just crazy.
I was genuinely scared he was going to crash.
I honestly was expecting that to happen.
That was probably one of the scarier points of the entire film, and I don't think it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Anyways, give me 5. As always, a top-notch give me 5
question
is in
of quiz
store.
games, yes.
Would you care to go first or second today, Gary?
You know what? I think you are cruising for a bruising because I've got a great edition of Tom Cruise trivia for you.
Oh, boy.
How well do you know the man who has permeated Hollywood culture for decades?
Not very well.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I've got 3 Tom Cruise questions. Each has 3 facts. One of them is true. The other 2 I pulled out of my Tom Cruise butt. You ready for this?
As always.
All right, number 1. Tom Cruise bought his first motorcycle when he was 12 years old. Number 2, Tom Cruise was raised in a devout Jewish household and wanted to become a rabbi. Number 3, Tom Cruise wanted to be a zookeeper when he was older, and his love of baboons drove him to become an actor.
So one of these is true?
One of these is true.
The motorcycle one.
That's the true one?
Yes.
Sniff me out. And he did buy his first motorcycle when he was 12. I'm jealous. He beat me by like 10 years. All right. Number 2. He has said his lifelong best friend in Hollywood is Patrick Swayze. Aladdin's face in the Disney movie Aladdin is modeled after his. He was an alternate in the 1988 Olympics on the United States men's gymnastics team.
No. What? Man, you are... I gotta tell you, sometimes you're just way too creative for this. Wow.
Wow, this is some really good Tom Cruise facts.
Wow, hey.
All right, Owen, what's your answer, man?
I'm gonna go with... number 2.
Aladdin's face?
No, I'm sorry, number 1.
Patrick Swayze?
No.
Did gymnastics?
Oh, gosh, they all suck. Yeah, let's go Aladdin's face.
You are right. Because of his popularity in Hollywood at the time, Disney chose to model the character Aladdin's face after Tom Cruise.
God bless. All right, next one.
Last
2 for
one.
2.
You really love Tom Cruise, man. He's like your anti-Pratt. All right, Tom Cruise wears braces to this day because he's incredibly insecure about his teeth. He takes them off for films, but he still wears them. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Oprah refuses to interview Cruise after the infamous 2005 couch incident, citing it as the most embarrassing moment of her career.
Okay.
Number 3, in Japan, every October 10th is nationally recognized as Tom Cruise Day because the actor has visited the country more than any Western actor.
October 10th, huh? Mm-hmm. See, the problem is that we're coming up on that day, so that makes me want to believe that that's not true. Oh, wow. See, the funny thing is, okay, so if you mix that up, a real fact with a fake fact for Oprah, that is just
Dastardly
devious. I think Oprah would do anything for money, so I'm gonna go with Tom Cruise.
She's a saint.
Yeah, she is a saint, but I'm just saying if she has a chance to interview and it sells, she would do it.
Okay.
So October 10th is Tom Cruise Day.
My God, you are good. Japan actually has a nationally recognized Tom Cruise Day on October 10th.
That is insane. You almost got me there because it's coming up.
He actually is incredibly insecure about his teeth, but he wore braces up till he was like 30, but not anymore.
Yeah. I think that it's something, a retainer. But if you'd have said retainer, but since you said braces, yeah. Gary, Tom Petty, the frontman of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, was hospitalized after suffering cardiac arrest at his home in Malibu. He could not be revived, and he died at age 66. And a strong, hail fellow well met to him. Good luck, Tom Petty, wherever you are now. In honor of his pettiness, I've come up with a game. I'm going to recap a few celebrity breakups, and I want you, Gary Boucher, to let me know, Petty or Heartbreaker? Are you ready, Gary?
And I'm free.
He's no longer
falling.
He landed. All right. Bella Hadid and The Weeknd. The internet briefly lost its mind when a photo surfaced of Selena Gomez smooching The Weeknd behind a dumpster shortly after.
Behind a dumpster? Aren't they like rich people? Why they got to kiss behind a dumpster?
Maybe it's behind the club, behind a dumpster. Shortly after, Bella Hadid, who dated The Weeknd for nearly 2 years, reportedly unfollowed Selena on Instagram. Petty situation or heartbreaker?
That'd be petty AF, my good sir.
All right.
I know who Gigi Hadid is.
Bella Hadid?
But is Bella like her sister or something?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. That's why he's petty. In The Weeknd, he's pretty cool, I guess. Yeah. But Selena's cooler than both of them.
The Weeknd with no E because it lasts for eternity. All right, Taylor Swift and Calvin Harris. T. Swift famously purged her Instagram of all things Calvin Harris following their split in June 2016. Calvin did the same because at that point, why the hell not? Petty or heartbreaker?
You know, if you would have told me Tom Hiddleston, I would have said heartbreaker. Because I loved them together. But this one is petty.
This one's petty.
Yes.
All right. Black China and Rob Kardashian.
Ooh, heartbreaker. Sorry.
Oh, wow. But right there.
I was following that one up until the break.
Blac Chyna and Rob Kardashian have definitely dabbled in some petty behavior. Last September, for example, Chyna blessed her Twitter followers with Rob's phone number. She explained why on Snapchat. To assure your man is not texting no female dogs, just tweet his number out. How's that feel, Rob? How you feel? Get your number changed. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that is a petty move, but the breakup is heartbreaking.
Yeah. All right. Last but certainly not least, Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill. After Nicki Minaj said she was starting 2017 single, Meek Mill dissed her taste in footwear. He insted a now deleted photo of white wedge sneakers that Nicki wore in a music video. The caption: If you walk out, don't wear these. They whack.
Ooh,
petty or heartbreaking?
That is savage, and I will say that that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's so savage that it's who hurt you?
Man, who was you mad at this morning? That is
all right.
Heartbreaking.
How fellow well met, Tom Petty.
Again, because he's dead.
Oh wow. Inappropriate. All right, go ahead, Gary.
I have happy celebrity relationship news. Today is the Obama's 25th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Today they've been married for 25. Wow. I watched the sweet video that Barack put on Facebook for Michelle, and I couldn't love them anymore. And I have to ask you, if you had to be married to one celebrity for the next 25 years, you had to stay with him, who would your celebrity be?
Ooh.
It's not just like, we can have like a quick flame.
Because I really have a crush on Ariana Grande, but I do not.
Could you be married to her for 25 years? No, you couldn't do that.
No. 25 years. Wow, you gotta really go.
You got to think who'd be a great
Yeah.
life partner out of these people.
For some reason, Emma Stone just keeps popping into my head.
She would be great. I think.
Yeah, maybe even Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, I'm gonna go Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
Emma
who I'd
Stone,
pick?
sticking with it.
You know who I'd pick?
Who?
Chloe Grace Moretz, because I just want to grow with her, man. I just want to grow old with her. Maddie, I love you. All right.
Yeah, love you, Ruby. All right, Odell Beckham Jr. You've heard of the man, right?
I know. I watch sports.
Okay,
Come
just
on.
making sure. His hands are some of the most important hands in professional sports. He makes ridiculous catches with them, so he needs all of his digits. That's fancy people speak for fingers
Ooh.
to be working properly. On Sunday, they didn't. I jammed my finger, Beckham said after the game. It just popped out. It's not the first time. It's just not a comfortable feeling. You run off and your finger is out of place. He said that the finger was just swollen. I want you to remember this, just swollen.
Yeah.
And that he'd be fine. When Beckham got back to the sideline after it happened, they popped that sucker back in there. Gary, what is the most painful thing you've ever just manned up and walked off? And while you peruse on that, I'm going to show you the picture of his finger.
Ooh, who is? Remember the NFL player who blew off his finger in like fireworks accident?
Yeah,
I saw
that's
the picture of
Jason
that.
Pierre-Paul of the New York Giants as well.
You got the picture going?
I'm working on the picture, but who?
Would you like me to tell you my anecdote?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I was in 8th grade, I was on this club basketball team, and we made it to the league playoffs. And when I was backpedaling, I tripped on another player, stuck my hand out behind me, and fell. And I really hurt my wrist. I didn't know what was wrong with it. It got all black and blue and swollen really quick, and I showed my coach, and he was like, no, you're going to stay in there, because there was like a few minutes left in the game. I ended up dropping 16 points in the game. After I hurt my wrist, I hit 2 3-pointers with my wrist, and then I go afterwards to urgent care and find out that I broke my hand and wrist, my right hand and wrist. And I am so proud of that I played through that, and I dropped 16 points after I broke my freaking wrist.
That is the ultimate Mamba mentality, right?
I know, right?
You Kobe'd that
I had
game.
2 threes in a kid's face with a broken wrist, man.
Oh my gosh! Did you even play the rest of the year?
No, I had a cast for like 6 months, and now my finger's kind of jacked up because of it too. It's all sideways, but yeah.
Wow, that's
And my
crazy.
wrist?
I am so.
Still makes this
Oh
sound.
yeah, that is great sound effects.
I can feel it still. It's great.
I'm gonna use that on the intro next week. I am so close. The internet is working so fantastically fast on this Odell
You know
Beckham
what?
thing.
Maybe I'll just look it up.
I'm like right here. I got the blue pictures. I just cannot. It's distilling. So why don't you move? Oh! Here we go.
You got
Here we
some?
Go.
You got some?
I want to show
Let
you.
me see this fingy.
Oh my gosh! It is quite possibly the slowest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Go ahead.
Ooh!
Yes, you see it. There you go.
Ow!
Yeah, it is bent all the
Poor
way back.
guy. Ow, looks like he snapped it in half like a
I know.
tree, like a twig.
I know. All right,
Wow,
your
he's
turn, sir.
Got some tough phalanges.
Or no, wait, but yeah, no, it is your turn.
Yeah, it's my turn, man. All right. So we have seen a lot of movies this summer.
Yes, sir.
But thankfully, we have skipped or missed a lot of the bad ones, either by judgment or by chance. I have a list here of the 10 worst critically received movies of this year so far.
Ooh.
I'm going to give them to you in a random order. You try to tell me what you think the order is, from kind of worst to the worst of the worst. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
All right. The Mummy.
I loved it. Continue.
Birth of the Dragon.
Oh, okay. Next.
Wish Upon. You heard of that one?
Upon? I don't even-
It was this like teenage PG-13 horror movie about like social media horror. I don't know.
Okay.
The Emoji Movie.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty great.
Patrick Stewart was in it.
Transformers: The Last Night. Marky Mark. Baywatch.
Baywatch.
Bay in The House. The one with Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler, The House.
Oh, God. Yes.
Remember when like you kind of wanted to see that at one point?
I was so excited for that. I saw it. Biggest disappointment of the summer. Continue.
The Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature. Didn't even know that was a thing.
I knew it was out there, but I just didn't even see the first one. So
All Eyes on Me, the Tupac movie.
I heard that was so bad that
I
they
know.
were using cell phones, just regular iPhones. And it was placed in the, when was it? The 80s, late 80s, early 90s?
Late 90s. Late 90s.
90s.
And they had smartphones?
iPhones, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And I think you have 9, right? So I got one more for you.
I believe so.
The Dark Tower.
Oh.
All right. I'm going to give you 3 strikes here. Tell me if you can order them. Or maybe if you can just guess the top 5 in no order.
Sounds good. All right, top 5 Emoji movies.
Yeah, that is the worst of the year.
Good riddance Emoji movie. Baywatch is in there.
No, Baywatch is number 9.
What?
Yeah. Only kind of bad. Only kind of really bad.
Transformers is in there.
Yep, that'd be number 3.
Okay.
You got 1 strike and you've got number 3.
The House.
Now, The House is actually number 7.
What is on with this? So I only have one more. Wish Upon has to be in there.
Wish Upon would be number 8. Look at your strikes. You want to hear the order?
Yeah.
All right, this is from worst to least worst. The Emoji Movie, The Nut Job 2, Transformers, All Eyes on Me, The Dark Tower, The Mummy, The House, Wish Upon, Baywatch, and then Birth of the Dragon. So two animated movies are terrible.
Unfortunately, I wanted to see Birth of the Dragon.
I know, I was interested too, but
Oh well.
these biopics, man.
All right, let me pull up my beautiful. All right, Gary. I don't know if you've heard, but the NBA All-Star Game is changing its format with the most popular athletes from both conferences, due to popular vote, getting to pick their own pick'em All-Star
It's like
team.
in the old PE classes, they're going to pick 2 captains, and they're going to just go down the line and pick players from any conference. It's
Which is
cool.
weird because if we were both the captains of this Gimme 5, my team would consist solely of Gimme 5!
Do you mean Uberfax?
Yeah! Of Uberfax.
I knew that this was going to segue to Uberfax. I was waiting for it.
You're waiting for it.
I thought you might be like, so who would you pick for your All-Star team? And I was like, oh, that's a cool question. But no, Uberfax.
Uberfax, of course. This is the part of the show where I've got 5 sets of facts for Gary over here. They're going to come in 3 facts. One of them is the false fact. I want you to find that fact and tell me which
I
one
was
it is.
3 for 5 last week, 5 for 5 the week before, so a net 8 for 5, which is excellent.
Yeah, you're getting destroyed.
I'm getting my career average up, man.
It's still pretty low. You're
Probably
batting
like-
baseball numbers.
Yeah.
And you're getting sent down to the A's. All right, here we go. Fact number 1. Jesus never talks about homosexuality in the Bible. Fact number 2. Maraschino cherries are made from red grapes that are pickled in cherry juice with artificial stems. In fact number 3.
Why do I care about that? Sorry, keep going. That's just so weird.
Fact number 3. Since 2007, several pairs of detached human feet have washed up on the shores of Western Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I read about that last one. Number 1, I know that people use that as an argument a lot, but I feel like there might be maybe some point in there where Jesus, I don't know. I'm gonna go with my instincts and say number 2 because that is just weird.
That is completely weird and completely false!
Ah,
You
yes.
sniffed it out. I thought that was weird enough, and there were no animals in there.
No,
So
I was like, wait, what? Pickled? What?
if I'd have been able to put another one that you'd never read about the
You would throw me off, man.
about the Canada, you would have gone now. All right, next one. There's a virus. Fact number 1. There's a virus that can control human brains. Fact number 2. Having excessive body hair is linked to higher intellect. Fact number 3. Blankets were outlawed in the Russian military till 1998, since blankets were a symbol of weakness.
Number 1.
Number
Yes,
1.
yes.
That is completely true.
Ah, the second one is false, isn't it?
That's completely true.
The third one's false, isn't it?
How'd you know?
I don't know, man. I've got great intellect because my body hair. You know?
Oh yes, of course.
Speaking of body hair,
Speaking of body hair, the hairiest
just
man
walked
of them
in.
all. Luke, always right, never wrong. joining the podcast. Come on down, buddy.
I just came here to podcast, and honestly, I just feel personally attacked.
You shouldn't. You have all the body
It's a
hair.
compliment.
to
We just
deflect.
body hair is a link to higher intellect.
You think you can beat Gary? He's only got one right.
And I've got one wrong.
You've got two.
One for two.
Oh yeah, so he's 1-1. So he's gaining an advantage of 1 on you, Luke. Trust me, it's no big
I was
advantage.
about to say I'm not.
All right, next one, Luke and Gary. Men and you're trying to find the fake one.
Oh, we're going to fake this?
Yes,
time?
fake.
Okay.
Men and women who stay up late are more likely to be single than in a relationship. Fact number 2: blonde women prefer polka dots, while women with blonde hair prefer stripes.
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. The first one was brunette women prefer polka dots, while women with blonde hair prefer stripes.
Well, now it's interesting.
Now it's interesting. And fact number 3: Starbucks spends more money on health insurance for its employees than on coffee beans. Which one's the fake fact?
Gary,
And
you should
I was going to
know.
say
You should know
Gary.
at least what number 3
Gary's
is.
homegrown.
I do have really good health insurance.
Number 1 would explain a lot.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness!
I mean, I think we've all been there.
I think we have all been there. Late
What do-
at 2
what do
o'clock
you-
in the morning.
What do you mean have been? One of us is still there.
It's still there at 4 o'clock
I'll
in the
tell you
morning
what,
watching
man.
Game of Thrones.
Okay, so number 1 is the staying up late. Number 2 is the polka dot one, and number 3 is the Starbucks one.
That is completely 100% correct, but now you're trying to find out which one's incorrect.
Okay.
Either one of you want to take a stab first?
I'm going to go number 2.
Is the fake one.
I hope so.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Sorry, I'm going to go number 1.
Number 1,
I
okay.
hope.
I am gonna go number 3 is the fake one.
Okay.
Wow, putting your own.
I think that he's
Wow.
he's gonna try to do some reverse psychology here and plant that in my mind because he knows I work for Starbucks.
Well, my reverse psychology worked on Luke because you both got the false one. It was number 2.
Oh, I should have gone with my gut.
Oh, your gut, where it's hairiest. All right, next one. Men who say
That's just a cheap shot. That's a cheap shot.
men. I had to pay for Red Robin. Men who say they work out
Get
are.
better at fantasy football.
Man, I suck. Men who say they work out are 80% more likely to contract genital cancer than those who say they do not work out. Fact number 2: chickenpox is a form of herpes. And fact number 3: a Colombian woman once found a potato growing in herself. Yes.
Okay, so we have chickenpox, herpes, potato, and the no-nos. And what was the first one? Oh, saying that you work out is gonna give you prostate cancer.
Yes.
Genital cancer.
That's the fake one.
Yeah. Not prostate cancer.
Is there?
Genital.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh wait, so you're not saying that's the fake one?
He was just
You're just
correcting.
correcting.
I'm correcting.
Got it. Got it. Okay, boys.
Colombian woman with the potato and the hoo-ha.
I'm gonna go with the chicken pox one.
Once again, I'm on fire today. You both missed it.
It was the first one.
It was the first one. I was able to go there. Genital cancer. All right.
I need to start going with my gut. I'm overthinking.
Yes, you are. You are. Come
Because
on.
it's the hairiest that has the highest intellect.
I know.
So you've got to follow it.
I will leave this podcast right.
The SS Nemo is the largest cruise ship in history, weighing 80,000 tons and cost 3.4 billion pounds to manufacture. Fact number 2.
Are you referencing A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? I'll just keep that in my back pocket. Keep going.
Keep that in your back pocket, I suppose. Wasn't that was the captain was Nemo.
Oh, I thought a ship was Nemo.
No, the ship is Red
Liz.
October.
Yeah.
I suck. Keep going.
Carrie Underwood. Fact number 2. Carrie Underwood had a third nipple. That's a tongue twister.
Had a third nipple.
All right. Fact number 3. Your feet are slightly younger than your head. Okay. Those are all the facts.
One of those is just semantics.
I'm gonna go with the first one.
Is the fake one.
I'm still going with the gut.
I'm going number 1.
You both sniffed it out. Yeah, that is the fake one.
Woo!
Time moves a bit faster.
Here we go.
Jellyfish. Boom.
I'm keeping it PG, but I wanted to say some very rude things. I was happy.
He was
for
denied a
second.
high five there. Time moves a bit faster 12 inches above the ground as opposed to at ground level. So that's why your feet are slightly older than your head. All right. To you, Gary.
That's physics, Gary.
It's like, wait a second, what's going on?
Blue is mine. He's like, is there
this is
another
some
Uber vac?
interstellar stuff here. All right. So I don't know if you saw it, but 2 days after Hugh Hefner died, it was announced that a biopic is being produced about his life.
Well, that was
And
fast.
they just announced the casting today. I'm gonna give you 5 actors. Tell
Who's
me.
doing it?
I'm sure they had it in the works for a while.
Yeah. It was just
They
like
announced
they just announced it like right then.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you 5 actors. One of them is the one who was picked for
Right.
Hugh, and I want you to guess which one it is.
Okay.
Are you ready for your 5 actors?
Yes.
5 actors are Kevin Spacey, Colin Firth, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jared Leto, Jason Segel.
That's a wide range of
That is a wide. I'm looking up Jason Segel just to remember his face.
He,
Was it Marshall?
yeah, How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, have you seen also
yeah.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall? He was
Yeah. Jason, Okay.
Jason Segel. Yeah.
Okay, so Jason Segel, Leonardo DiCaprio, Colin Firth, Kevin Costner.
Kevin Spacey
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
and Jared Leto.
I really hope it's Leo.
Leo would do a good job.
It's not Leonardo DiCaprio.
He could play him really good.
Practically is it?
Yeah, right.
Well, who's doing it? Who's producing it? Is that giving it away?
I don't think it would give it away. I don't know who is producing or directing.
I'm gonna go with Jason Segel because that's just too weird for you to make up.
No, because Gary loves Jason.
Oh,
Gary
yeah.
puts Jason Segel in everything.
Yeah,
he's like your
I love him.
outlet.
He has been in a biopic before, but you are wrong. It is Jared Leto.
Oh, that was my bad.
Jared Leto is playing Hugh Hefner.
I can see it.
I'll need some makeup to see it.
Can you imagine like Jason Segel awkwardly like walking through the Playboy Mansion, like, "Hey guys,
Well,
I'm
that's
Hugh."
why it was so weird. I was like, somebody has to have a plan, but okay. Appropriate that you're here, Mr. Luke, right? Fox Sports will no longer air coverage of the national anthem before its NFL games, the network said on Sunday in a statement to Sports Illustrated. With the exception of the London matchup between the Miami Dolphins and New Orleans Saints, as well as last night's Monday Night Football game, Fox Sports plans to follow, quote, standard procedure, end quote, and broadcast regionalized coverage without airing the national anthem. The network added, quote, however, our cameras are always rolling and we will document the response of players and coaches on the field, end quote. The decision was a shift from last week when Fox Sports broadcasts the national anthems from games. Gary and Luke, smart or dumb move here from Fox Sports to not air the national anthem? Either one of you want to tackle that one?
I guess I understand it because the whole thing is just totally like
Divisive.
blew up and divisive. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I would assume it's a smart move.
I'd say irrelevant move.
Irrelevant?
Irrelevant, yeah. If they're still going to film it, if they're still going to report on who's sitting and who's standing, it's irrelevant.
People are probably still gonna look it up,
Yeah,
you know.
You're not changing anything.
Yeah, I'm saying it's dumb only because they're in the ratings business, and for once, I'd imagine for the first time in a while, people are actually glued eyeballs to the national anthem section of the football game and not just scrambling around waiting for kickoff. Just killing time. That's my personal thought. Go ahead, Gary.
So I was gonna mention Tom Petty, but you already mentioned him.
I
But
did.
basically, my
It's a
segue.
great segment, though. We had a couples breakup, and it was determining Petty or Heartbreaker.
Okay.
Anyways, go ahead.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, you appreciated
So
it. I
he
thought.
he died. He's not. I like his music. He's not one of my favorite artists, but it's sad that he's gone.
By no
But
means. Not one of my favorite
It's
artists.
heartbreaking.
Wow.
I mean,
Way to beat 12th to the race of puns. Anyways.
I've seen these memes on Facebook a lot, and it shows like cartoons of like dead musicians, and it's like, who would you bring back for one final performance? And I want to know
Tom Petty is so dead it's not even funny on that list.
well, he's not. He hasn't made it on the list yet, unless you would pick him.
He's not making it.
Who would you pick to bring back out of all the dead artists to play for you?
This is so easy. Michael Jackson.
Oh,
Are you kidding me? If he comes back, even if he comes back as a zombie, that even makes it more appropriate.
that'd be pretty cool.
I was like, if he comes back as a zombie, he'd have to just play Thriller the whole time.
Yeah, but it's fine. He'd still be like, breaking ankles and moonwalking all the way back in the. Oh! So, anyways,
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Wow, that's great. Wow.
All right.
Shimona.
All right. Actually, Luke and Gary, this is fantastic. I got you both on the final game. If you're a fan of Rick and Morty, then you probably know why people have been obsessed with McDonald's Szechuan sauce lately. The season 3 opener of the Adult Swim's show featured Rick ranting about how good the sauce was, even though it was only offered for a limited time in 1998 as a tie-in to Disney's Mulan. Shortly after the episode aired, McDonald's sent Justin Roiland, the show's co-creator, his very own bottle of the delicious sauce. Well, guess what?
It's back on October 7th at Select McDonald's.
For one day, it's coming back.
Oh.
And it's to help promote their buttermilk crispy tenders. Mickey D's is offering the sauce in a select few of their restaurants.
4 in Phoenix.
4 in Phoenix. There
Only
you go.
4? Ooh.
Yeah.
Closest one's 35th Avenue in Bethany Home.
Good luck.
Oh, well, I guess we're going to 35th at Bethany on October 7th.
Yep.
Gary and Luke, I'm going to give you guys a couple of lists of famous items from 1998, and I want you to decide what makes a glorious return for one day, and one day only. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, so
Oh, and Szechuan sauce.
we're only picking one off the list.
One off the list. You
Okay.
guys can only pick one.
1998.
Either
Is this just a personal opinion one, or is this a game?
this is a game. Well, I mean, it's a personal opinion one. It's not actually coming back, but it's just your own personal opinion.
Which one will we
All right,
pick?
so movies. Popular movies in 1998 that you can choose to come back in whatever form you want. Armageddon, Titanic, Saving Private Ryan, There's Something About Mary, A Bug's Life, Mulan, Dr. Dolittle, Shakespeare in Love, The Mask of Zorro, and The Wedding Singer. Which one makes a glorious comeback?
That was so many.
So Saving Private Ryan has basically been brought back in the form of like TV shows like Band of Brothers and stuff, because that's what inspired those shows.
No, I think the fact that Band of Brothers was inspired by the men that it's based off of.
No, but like the whole style and the popularity of the show was feeding off of the popularity of Saving Private Ryan. That's what made war movies like super popular again in that form, I would say. I would pick Wedding Singer as a TV sitcom.
Okay, comes back as a wedding sitcom.
Yes.
Luke?
I don't think you can redo like Saving Private Ryan. Like that was it's just too much of a classic.
A lot of good bit performances too. Like Vin Diesel's in that. Who remembers Vin Diesel's in
I
that?
remember because I always say who remembers Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan.
Nathan Fillion for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
He's dead.
I don't maybe like Armageddon.
Armageddon
I feel like Armageddon's a very underrated movie.
very underrated. Everybody hates on that
What
movie.
if it like came out like Independence Day though, where they tried to do a sequel and then it was like,
I suppose
you
so.
know? I don't know.
I don't know. I think if they,
A
if
modern
they did
day-
the original act, because to me, I never saw Independence Day 2 because Will Smith wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I found out Will Smith was in it, I was like, LOL, no.
Yeah.
And you know who they could bring back in Armageddon, and he would be fantastic.
Who?
Wow. He was in the original Armageddon.
Wow.
Wow.
those
That's a big meteor.
Wow.
Wow. All right, television. The Jerry Springer Show, Frasier, The Late Show with David Letterman, The Nanny, The X-Files, Friends, The Drew Carey Show, Everybody Loves Raymond, King of the Hill, and of course, all of our favorite, Teletubbies.
So they brought back the X. Didn't Netflix reboot X
The
Files?
X-Files was brought back on like network television.
Yeah.
Oh.
It came back for like I think like a brief, essentially like mini series.
There were a couple on here that I erased just to make it into a concise list.
I have
so
to
it
get
gets
through.
let in.
I'm like one of the 10 Americans who hasn't watched Friends.
Friends
Yeah.
is
So-
one of the most overrated things.
That's like
on
those are like
television.
the vibes that I get because everyone has seen it. I'm like, I don't even want to watch it now.
There are good episodes. It is not the greatest show ever.
Yeah.
Like some people.
For as much as it's referenced, it's aged horribly.
I bring back
Has what, 10, 20 years?
I bring back Teletubbies as a twisted Comedy Central live action show.
All right.
I
Luke?
don't bring back any of them because they all died in the 2000s and they deserve to stay there.
Frasier would be my pick there. Toys. Get ready for some nostalgia, boys and girls. Hot Wheels Car Wash. Bash and Brawl Wrestlers. Pokemon Game Boy game. So it was the first Pokemon game. Talking Barney. Tamagotchi. Teletubbies figures, Tonka Chuck My Talking Truck, Electronic Talking Wishbone, and Pose-a-Blue.
Pokemon Original Series as an open world RPG where you get to walk around through the whole region and you can find and battle each Pokemon individually, and it would be amazing.
So
And
Pokemon
I've
Go.
given this a lot of thought.
Yeah, I like that choice, but I'm not gonna. Pokemon would have been my first pick, but Luke already went with it, so I'm gonna go with Tamagotchi.
There you go.
Modernized Tamagotchi. I was all up with that.
Yeah, you were hatching eggs and
Yes.
shaking to the night goes. Was young.
I've been thinking about that for literally like a decade now.
Wow.
Tamagotchi.
No.
Pokemon.
I never actually had Tamagotchi.
Never had Tamagotchi
So
myself.
just so I'm clear, Tamagotchi was a little Japanese
Yeah,
thing that was
yeah.
like, it was an oval with the three buttons, and you had a
Yeah.
pet. Yeah. Oh
Yep,
my
yep,
god.
yep.
I was
It
obsessed.
was like one of that was like the most popular out of like the 7 variations.
Of that, yeah.
I think even McDonald's came out with its own
Like a
for
mini-
Pokemon. I
Yeah.
think it was even. That was it for you, right, Gary?
Yes, sir. 5 and
Alright,
5.
That's it for me. All right, so next week we're going to take it around town and take it back in time. Speaking of 1998, we're going to be going back in time to.
We're going to be going forward in time to 2049.
I suppose so. When was the last one set? Was it set in 20?
No, it was set almost, I think 2020, like 2018, 2025 or something like
It's
that.
close
Yeah.
to where it was supposedly set.
Yeah.
It's almost like Back to the Future, where it was so close that now it's like now. But yeah,
Back then it was like now. We already passed Back to the Future, but
yeah, I know. Now are we in? Yeah, because the Cubs were supposed to win the World Series. All right,
There you go.
there you go. They were a year behind.
could you imagine?
If they'd have gotten it on the dot, that would have been
Crazy.
That would have been Steven Spielberg's crowning achievement,
Boom.
right? Not even winning the Oscar.
He deserves to win an Oscar.
We correctly
Yeah.
predicted Cubs winning World Series. Yeah, best thing.
That's crazy. All right, so
Blade-
next year, Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
I really hope that there's not
It's
a
getting-
trequel.
Oh no, I don't think it will. And
So-
I'm really excited because Denis Villeneuve, I can't say his last name, Villeneuve, directing it. One of my like favorite up and coming. He's not even up and coming anymore, but he was
He's-
when
well-
I got into him. So I think he was a great choice. So I'm excited.
If he's, I hesitate to even bring this up, but if he's no longer up and coming, is he just
Don't.
okay? All right. Anyways, okay. So that's all for Chopped Greens, and we are, as always, on YouTube. Find us on there. For
Gary, wow.
wow, it's also,
Luke, right?
and I'm Phil Bamaran. Thank you so much for listening, and as always,
Wow.